The moon hung heavy over the Silverfang forest, its silver glow illuminating a clearing alive with anticipation and primal tension. Tonight was the mating ceremony, a sacred night that every wolf awaited with fear and desire, where bonds were forged, rivals measured, and destinies decided. Yet I never imagined I would be the center of chaos before the first ritual had even begun. I was supposed to stay in the shadows, an outsider in a world ruled by instincts older than time itself. But exhaustion, and something deeper, something almost magnetic, pulled me forward. My eyes found him, the alpha, Kieran. Every wolf in the pack obeyed him, yet he moved like a storm contained within a man, amber eyes scanning the clearing with lethal precision. Then it happened. I stumbled, my eyelids betrayed me. Before I could stop myself, I collapsed, and somehow impossibly, I fell asleep on the alpha's broad, commanding shoulders. Gasps ran through the crowd, eyes widened, the pack froze. Even Kieran's own control faltered for a heartbeat, amber eyes flickering with shock, curiosity, and something more dangerous. In that moment, under the silver moon, the night shifted. Destiny had chosen its pawns, and I had unknowingly stepped straight into the heart of desire, power, and forbidden attraction. The unexpected slumber. The moon hung low over the Silverfang territory, casting silver light across the dense forest that surrounded the grand clearing. Tonight wasn't just any night. It was the annual mating ceremony, a sacred ritual that every wolf in the pack awaited with a mix of anticipation and dread. Lanterns swung gently from the towering trees, their soft glow illuminating fur of all shades, white, gray, ebony, and the rare midnight black of the Alpha's elite guard. I, Illyra, had always felt like an outsider in this world. Born of human and wolf blood, my existence was a delicate balance, and tonight, as the wind whispered through the branches, I clutched my shawl, trying to steady the anxiety swirling in my chest. Every instinct in me screamed that this night would change everything. The Alpha, Kieran, emerged from the shadows, his presence commanding attention even from the farthest corner of the clearing. His shoulders were broad, rippling under the dark leather ceremonial tunic, eyes glowing amber as he surveyed his pack. The air seemed to thrum with tension, every heartbeat syncing with the Alpha's. I could feel it, an invisible pulse of power that demanded obedience and yet stirred something far more dangerous in me. The ceremony began with the rite of bonds. Wolves paired off, mates chosen by instinct and tradition. My heart thudded against my ribs, fear and curiosity warring within me. And then, as if drawn by some invisible thread, my gaze locked on Kieran. He was far away at first, but his piercing stare found me, cutting through the crowd like a knife. I didn't know why, but exhaustion overtook me. The nerves, the tension, and the strange pull of his aura made my eyelids heavy. I stumbled forward, seeking the nearest safe spot, and before I realized it, I was pressed against Kieran's strong shoulders. The warmth of him, solid and unyielding, was intoxicating. My lids fluttered once, twice, and then I fell asleep, right there in front of the entire pack. A gasp ran through the clearing. Wolves froze mid-step, whispers erupted like wildfire, the Alpha's chosen asleep on him. Shock rippled through every observer. Even Kieran himself stiffened, the surprise evident in the rigid set of his jaw. His amber eyes, usually so controlled and fierce, widened slightly. For a moment time seemed suspended. The world held its breath. And there I was, vulnerable and unguarded, heart racing even in sleep, draped over the most dangerous and powerful man I had ever known. Kieran knelt slowly, careful not to startle me, yet firm enough to assert his dominance. His hands, warm, steady, and impossibly strong, supported me. The pack watched tense and uneasy, as their Alpha carried me to a quiet corner of the clearing, away from prying eyes. Illyra. His voice was a low rumble, almost a growl. It was the kind of sound that could calm storms or ignite them. You dare fall asleep at my shoulders during the mating ceremony. Even half awake, I could feel the heat of his gaze, the magnetic pull of his presence, and deep down I knew I had just crossed into dangerous territory, not just with him, but with destiny itself. The forest whispered secrets only the Alpha and I would soon understand. secrets that would unravel bonds, awaken instincts, and ignite a passion that could neither be tamed nor denied. The clearing buzzed with murmurs, eyes darting between the sleeping me and Kieran. Wolves who had trained their entire lives to obey without question now shifted uneasily. Some snickered nervously, others gasped, and a few bolder ones openly stared with incredulity. Kieran's amber gaze never left me, his jaw clenched, muscles rippling under his ceremonial tunic as he carefully carried me to the edge of the clearing. Every movement radiated controlled strength, a dangerous mix of power and restraint. My head lolled against his shoulder, hair brushing against his neck, and the faint scent of pine and something intoxicatingly masculine made my heart pound even more. He stopped in a shadowed alcove, just enough away from the glaring eyes of the pack. The silence between us was electric. Kieran set me down gently, though his hands lingered on my arms, firm, protective, possessive. "Do you have any idea what you've done, Alara?" His voice was a growl now, low and dangerous. The kind of growl that made every wolf in the vicinity shiver, human or not. I blinked, still groggy from sleep, my mouth dry. I didn't mean to. He cut me off with a sharp gesture. "Intent matters little. You've just humiliated me in front of the pack," and yet his amber eyes softened slightly, though the intensity never left them. There's something else here. Something magnetic." I swallowed hard. My pulse raced, a confusing mix of fear and something else I dared not name. The Alpha had noticed me, not just my presence, but my very being. From the clearing, whispers escalated into full-blown speculation. Some claimed I was courting the Alpha's favor. Others feared I had broken some ancient, unspoken rule of the mating ceremony. Then the unexpected happened. Kieran turned his back on the pack entirely, his aura flaring in a protective shield around me. A low growl rumbled from his chest, a warning to anyone who dared question his actions. The pack froze again, sensing the Alpha's warning, the danger that came with crossing him. "You will remain with me tonight." Kieran's voice brooked no argument. "The pack will not intervene." My heart skipped a beat. "With you here," I whispered, panic and excitement lacing my words. "Yes, here," he replied, his amber gaze locking with mine. "And do not think this is a reward. It is control, training, a lesson you will learn well." The forest seemed to lean in closer, as if holding its breath. The wind stirred, carrying the scent of pine, moss, and something deeper, something primal. My human senses screamed, but my wolf instincts, the half that pulsed through my veins, recognized Kieran as something more than an alpha. A force, a fire. As he guided me to a secluded alcove beneath the ancient oaks, I realized the world I knew was ending. Tonight, under the silver moon, destiny was not just knocking. It had grabbed me by the shoulders and refused to let go. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the panic and awe, I felt the stirrings of something forbidden, dangerous, and intoxicating. Desire for the Alpha who held the power to destroy me, or claim me. Completely, the alcove beneath the towering oaks felt like another world. Shadows dancing across Kieran's chiseled features, the silver moonlight tracing the angles of his jaw, and the breadth of his shoulders. Every step he took toward me made my heart thundering in my chest, as if it wanted to break free. "You think you can just fall asleep on me," he said, voice low and dangerous, "and nothing will happen." I swallowed hard, trying to steady my trembling. I didn't mean to. I was tired, he repeated, a dangerous curve forming on his lips, or reckless. The question, simple as it seemed, carried a weight I couldn't ignore. My wolf side stirred, sensing the challenge, the power radiating from him. There was no hiding here. Every instinct screamed that he could devour me with a single glance, and yet every nerve in my body ached to be closer. Kieran stepped closer. The air between us seemed to crackle, charged with an energy that made my skin tingle. I could feel the warmth radiating from his body, smell the sharp, intoxicating scent of pine and dominance that surrounded him. My pulse raced, every nerve screaming a dangerous combination of fear and longing. "You are mine tonight," he growled, voice almost a rumble beneath the trees. Not as a mate, not yet, but as a lesson. I shivered despite myself. A lesson. Yes, a lesson in obedience and desire. His amber eyes bore into mine, unrelenting, commanding, yet teasing. You will learn what it means to be in the presence of the alpha body, mind, and spirit. My breath hitched. I wanted to argue, to resist, but my wolf, sighed the part of me that could never lie about what it felt, betrayed me. I leaned toward him slightly without realizing, drawn to the force he exuded. Kieran reached out, brushing a strand of hair from my face. The touch was light, almost tender, yet it carried an unspoken power that made me tremble. "Do you feel it?" he whispered, close enough that I could feel the heat of his breath. "The pull, the bond that has begun tonight." I couldn't speak. My throat went dry. My heart felt like it was trying to leap from my chest. Suddenly, a sound from the clearing, the murmur of the pack, pulled me back to reality. I glanced over my shoulder. Wolves watched, their eyes sharp, filled with curiosity, judgment, and envy. Yet Kieran's presence was a shield. None dared approach. The alpha's warning was enough. He leaned closer, his lips brushing my ear, and my knees nearly gave way. "The pack may watch, but tonight you are only mine," he whispered. And in that moment, with the silver moon illuminating the two of us and the wind rustling the leaves, I understood. This was no ordinary night. This was the beginning of something forbidden, intoxicating, and utterly consuming. A bond had been forged, not yet by love, not yet by touch, but by *** desire, power, and fate itself ***. The clearing buzzed with whispers, the pack unable, or unwilling, to look away. Every wolf knew something unprecedented was unfolding. To see their alpha, the unchallenged king of Silverfang, kneeling with a half-human, half-wolf girl draped across his shoulders was scandal enough. To see him claim her with those amber eyes even momentarily was blasphemy. I followed Kieran silently, my legs still shaky from the adrenaline and the magnetic pull of his presence. Every step he took was measured, deliberate, and each one seemed to echo in the clearing. Wolves parted instinctively, a ripple of deference spreading through the crowd, their murmurs now turning to uneasy speculation. "Why are you letting them watch?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. My pulse still raced, and my cheeks burned with a mix of embarrassment and excitement. Kieran's eyes flicked toward me, the faintest smirk on his lips. "Because you need to understand what power looks like, and tonight you will learn submission and restraint, but also..." His gaze softened, almost imperceptibly. "You will learn desire." The words sent a shiver down my spine. I could feel the tension coiling in the pit of my stomach, the dangerous, intoxicating tension that had been building since I had first leaned against him. He guided me to a hidden alcove where the moonlight barely touched the ground, yet the forest itself seemed to hold its breath. Here, the pack's eyes could not pry, but the energy, the electricity, lingering in the air was palpable. Kieran circled me slowly, every movement deliberate, predatory yet intimate. "Do you know what the pack is thinking?" His voice was a low growl, almost vibrating in my chest. I shook my head, my throat too tight for words. "They think I am weak," he whispered, close enough that I could feel the warmth of his breath. "They think I am careless, and they are partially correct, but you will teach them otherwise." The heat of his body pressed against mine. My wolf instincts, long dormant in human disguise, roared to life. I could smell the scent of dominance, the promise of power, the dangerous pull of a creature unlike any I had ever known. "You are mine tonight," he repeated, his hands resting lightly on my hips, firm but not cruel. "And no matter what the pack whispers, no matter how they judge, you will learn to yield, and perhaps desire." I could hardly breathe. Desire, the word alone ignited something inside me. Dangerous, forbidden, and overwhelming. My pulse thudded against my ribs, echoing in my ears, as if the forest itself had synchronized with my racing heart. And then he pressed closer, amber eyes locking with mine, and I felt the first spark of something inevitable. A connection deeper than instinct, a pull stronger than fear. The forest seemed to close around us, shielding our secret as the night stretched on. The pack could watch all they wanted. They could whisper, judge, or even fear. But in this hidden alcove under the silver moon, the Alpha and I had begun a story that would consume everything, heart, soul, and body.